All right, joining us here on Pirate Radio Live, the prop queen, Ariel Epstein. Ariel, good to talk to you and good to see you. Welcome in.
Clip, thanks for having me on. Every time that you text me to come on, it's always right on the brink of when I think you forget about me. So it really means a lot.
No, and usually I want to have you on more, but you're kind of a big deal. So, I don't want to impose, but
Not at all, Clip. Always for you. I always have the most fun on your show.
it is fun. Great to hook up with you. And of course, people remember you from WCTI 12. We still talk to Brian North and now Luke Schwartz quite a bit. So good to have you back here in Eastern North Carolina. Ariel, how about for the folks around here that only watched you on WCTI 12? You're doing a few more things now, a little bigger, but tell everybody what you're up to these days.
Yeah, so I'm at Fanatics Sportsbook, which I love combining my worlds because this is a Fanatics sweatshirt. I also work with MLB Network, hence the picture behind me. And then in the basketball season, I'm with NBA TV. A lot of different shows in the works, and it's a lot of fun getting to spread things around. Turner Sports, actually, which owns NBA TV, started this new show called The Line, which airs on True TV. I'm on that show as well, and we do all sports all day. True TV, you may not know, except when you've got March Madness. I know all of you down there probably get True TV once a year so that you could watch those March Madness games. They're turning into a sports network now, so you could tune in for more coverage of all different things, including sports betting.
All right. I just want to see you on Impractical Jokers one time, and my life will be complete.
I actually did get to meet Joe. He was really
Okay.
nice.
Very
I met
good.
him at an animal shelter, like for an event raising money for dogs.
Awesome. Small world. Small world. All right, Ariel, let's talk about some of the playoff games going on tonight. And of course, your Bronx Bombers will take on Kansas City. I don't know how you feel, Ariel. You've got a little bias there, but having home games at Kansas City and Detroit, and I don't know, the Mets shouldn't be included in this because of their payroll and everything, but those fans are hungry for a winner. It's pretty cool to see some of these places hosting playoff games.
Especially because you haven't seen the Royals and the Tigers do it in so many years. You even think back to that World Series with the Royals. There's one player left from that team in 2015, and that's Salvador Perez.
Yeah.
There's a crazy stat, though. MLB released this today. When the division series, which is in the current 2-2-1 format, so 2 games at the 1 seed or the top seed, then 2 games on the road, then 1 more game. So the 2-2-1 format, if the series goes back tied 1 apiece, so let's just say Yankees Royals, for example, it goes back tied 1 apiece to Kansas City, that team hosting games 3 and 4 wins the series 66% of the time.
Hmm.
Not great for the
Huh.
Yankees.
And we are seeing that in the National League, I guess, with the Mets and Padres winning their game threes at home, and they can actually close it out today. Yankees Royals coming up tonight, 7:08. So, prop queen, I am a no run first inning head. That
Oh, of course you are.
I can't stop. How about props for you? You got any pitcher props for us on this Wednesday?
Yankees Royals. Yankees starter Clark Schmidt. I like his over 12 and a half outs. I saw this go up to 13 and a half. I grabbed 12 and a half over minus 120. Now Schmidt has pitched so much better on the road this year. His ERA drops by like 2 runs in his 6 games started on the road. You could look at his playoff numbers all you want, but Schmidt's only had 3 appearances in the playoffs, so I'm just taking that out of the equation. It's a really good buy low spot because Schmidt didn't have the greatest last 2 starts, but those games were at home where he's gotten shelled a few times at Yankee Stadium. The Royals, they have struggled to score at home. So I'm going to look to Clark Schmidt to have a really good outing. And plus, the Yankees do have Garrett Cole pitching tomorrow, but tonight's not the elimination game, and it's not the clinching game. You can give Schmidt more of a leash if you, like, just think about, okay, maybe the Yankees want to save their big bullpen arms for tomorrow in case they're up for elimination, in case they want to close the series out. Schmidt should go at least 5 to 6 innings.
All right, I like your thought process there. A couple of lefties in Phillies and Mets, Suarez and Quintana. Anything there?
I'm looking at the Mets team total over of 3.5 runs. The Mets have been crushing lefties so far this postseason, hitting 400. I even look back to the Mets last, I think it was 6 home games against a lefty starter, and that dates back to August 1st. The Mets scored at least 4 runs in 5 of those 6 games. They're averaging about 5 to 6 runs a game in those spots. So I would look to the Mets to get to Ranger Suarez at home, the way these bats have been on fire lately, especially against a lefty like Suarez, who hasn't looked the same since the All-Star break. His ERA is up just over a 6 at this moment, and 2-6 straight up. I don't trust Suarez on the mound. The Mets bats have been hot and consistent. Over 3.5 total runs at Citi Field tonight. That plays clip is going to be rocking.
That it will. As of the time of this recording at 2 o'clock, I'm not seeing starters, at least on this app, for Dodgers Padres. Do you have anything there for that game?
So I don't have anything on that game per se. Dylan Cease is starting for the Padres.
Okay.
He's pitching on the shortest amount of rest, I think, in his career. It's like 3 or 4 days off. He said he's, quote, very excited for the opportunity to pitch on such short rest. He's never done it before. It's a great new challenge for Dylan Cease. On the Dodgers side, they haven't announced anyone because they're throwing a bullpen game, which is insane that it's elimination game and the Dodgers are throwing a bullpen game. I don't care how much money you've spent. I don't care if you have Shohei Ohtani. In the playoffs, if you don't have pitching, it is very difficult to win. And the Dodgers have been in such a tough spot all season. It's amazing they've gotten to this point. The Padres are just absolute fire. I know a bunch of people that are close to me that they said they're just betting Padres team total overs the rest of the series. So you could take that approach. It wasn't smart, like last night, for example, to take the -1.5 on the run line, solely because when you're the home team, if the Padres are up by that 1 run, you don't get the extra at bat in the bottom of the 9th. I just don't like laying 1.5 with home teams.
Ariel Epstein joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, talking numbers, Thursday night, NFL, Seahawks, and 49ers. And then on Sunday, Ariel, one of the most disrespectful lines I've ever seen in all my years. The Washington Commanders are blowing out everybody, going up and down the field, scoring points. 6.5-point dogs against the Ravens, Ariel.
I'm going to make your day, Clip, as long as this happens within the next day or so. This line at 6.5, and mind everybody, I'm a diehard Ravens fan, but I'm going to make Clip happy because he did bring me on the show. Last week, the Cardinals faced the 49ers. That line was 7.5, like 6 to 7.5 all. I think it was 6.5 or 7.5 all week. When a number is 6.5, you could tease that number down to a pick 'em in a, let's say, whatever teaser you want to put in. I do 2-leg teasers, but you could tease that number down. If the sports book is not going to move that number away from 6.5 to, let's say, 5.5, and they're letting everyone come in with their 6.5 teasers to get this down to essentially a pick 'em, that should tell you that the sports books want you to tease the Ravens down to a pick 'em. So last, the Cardinals face the 49ers. The Cardinals line stayed at 6.5 pretty much all week, which was a big red flag. Because, okay, everyone was just teasing the 49ers down to pick them, thinking this is a sure slam dunk. The Niners are so much better, right, than the Cardinals. Well, guess who won that game? The Cardinals, 24-23. So when the sportsbook says, come tease the team all week long, you know something's up. I would say if this number stays 6.5 up until Friday, Clip, the Commanders are the right side.
All right. And Ariel knows her fishy lines, talks about them often via social media. So, all right, that made me feel a little bit better, but I do feel pretty good about my team.
I don't expect Aiden Daniels to run with the football as much as he had. The Ravens limited Josh Allen on the Bills. They limited him to 21 rushing yards on 5 carries. The Commanders have to throw the football. I cannot believe that last week against the Ravens, that crazy Bengals game, that the Bengals just mailed it in and went for the field goal, end up missing the field goal, and the Ravens come back. That Ravens secondary is the worst in football right now. They've allowed the most passing yards to quarterbacks. The Commanders, their passing D has been okay, but in the red zone the last 2 years, your Commanders cannot stop anybody. They allow the most passing touchdowns in the league. So look to these secondaries getting exposed throughout the game.
All right. Over passing yards, under Jaden Daniels rushing yards. Keep an eye on
Yeah.
that. Ariel, have you looked ahead? Anything else? NFL? I guess player props don't come out till later in the week, right? Or can you get some now?
Yeah, player props usually don't come out until a little later in the week unless you're looking at Thursday Night Football, which I was
Right.
actually going to do after this show. I would say there are a few lines that stood out about like movement wise. You're seeing the line move a point in favor of Green Bay this week. The line moved 2 points in favor of Atlanta, which doesn't surprise me. But the craziest movement I've seen so far, the line moved a point against the Cincinnati Bengals in Sunday Night Football. So they're playing the Giants at MetLife. The line went from Bengals -4.5 on Sunday to -3.5 today. And you know that everyone's going to be betting the Bengals. It's Joe Burrow. I know they've been struggling. The Giants at home, I mean, a little sneaky. They just covered against the Cowboys in their home stadium. So I would just be cautious of betting Joe Burrow and the Bengals again this week.
Ariel Epstein joining us. I know the NHL season underway. I believe the Hurricanes get going on Friday. When is NBA opening night, Ariel?
End of October.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like
Still got a
October
ways to go.
22nd range. Yeah, we've got a little bit of time for the NBA. I usually will start. So I go from baseball season to Aruba to basketball season.
All
So
right.
I take a nice week off in between from when baseball ends the World Series. Then I start picking up basketball with the NFL. I'm actually going to Ravens Monday Night Football in Tampa, as long as hopefully everyone's okay down in Tampa. That's
Yeah.
next week. And
I
I'm going to
checked
go
in,
to
by the way, on Alex and Zach the other day. They said they're going to be news people throughout this thing. So I hope they're doing all right
They
down
have
there.
experience. We were all in
Yeah.
Hurricane Florence together, mandatory evacuation, and I had my special note saying that I am so lucky to stay in New Bern. So that was a great experience. I feel like a hurricane chaser now. No, I really do hope everyone's okay down there. So we all know what that was like when, especially Hurricane Florence came and hit Eastern North Carolina. So I hope Alex and Zach are doing okay. Not hit. The hurricane hasn't hit yet, so we'll see.
Over under 4.5 fruity drinks your first day in Aruba. I'm gonna go.
Over.
Well, okay.
I
Take the
get
over.
Cliff, there's happy hour from 12 to 1 and then 4 to 6. And then you go to dinner, then you go to the casino. I know I sound terrible. I'm like the worst role model for people probably after this conversation, but you know what? It's okay. It's vacation. You can do it.
Nah, I said a terrible line there. That's on me. I gotta go higher next time.
Well, and does that count the airport and the plane?
Jeez
It
Louise.
doesn't
Okay.
count. The airport and the plane don't count.
Fair enough. Yeah, I said in Aruba. I guess so.
I'm actually
Ariel,
also going to K-State KU, which will be really fun too. I've never been to Manhattan, Kansas, the Little Apple.
the Sunflower Showdown, or they call
Is
it
that what
something.
it's called?
I
I should
believe
probably
so.
know these things.
Yeah.
My friend Kelly is taking me, so that'll be cool.
That
I
would
was
be
supposed
Kelly
to go.
and Kelly in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's she doing now? She's not with Barstool anymore, right?
No, she's
Yeah,
not with Barstool. She's kind of like doing a million different things. Then
yeah.
in our not spare time, we just go frolicking around to different sporting events.
Can't
And
beat
then
that.
we pretend that it's for work. No, it actually usually is for work. It's social media.
There you go. Living the dream. Ariel, great to catch up with you. We'll do it again soon. I don't forget about you. That is for sure. So we'll
You gonna come to West Point or no?
I will be here. I hope the Pirates show up in West Point.
Yeah, no, that would be good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk badly though because I do like the coaching staff. They're all very good to me.
All right.
So I'm
Very
not
good.
going to talk badly.
I'm,
I thought you were going to ask me questions about ECU football, and then I was getting nervous because I don't want the coaches mad at me, but I don't want to give bad information. So I'm just staying neutral.
anything I can do to not talk ECU football right now, I'm good with. So
You've got the Commanders.
I do. My Sundays
I'm
are
so
awesome.
happy for you.
Yes. And
You're going to miss the playoffs by one game probably. It's going to be so exciting.
Ariel, we got to go. See you later. Bye.